else. I mean, my Christ, but yeah.
Well, Juan Soto forgets he has one sometimes.
Dude, the guy just doesn't swing the bat. It's incredible. Such a good hitter. Doesn't like to use the bat.
So yeah, we're live. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Last night, well, the NBA was cool. It actually wasn't even a great MLB night, but the top bets went 2-0, and I've noticed that when the top bets do well, people are generally happy. Usually that works against me. Man, in the NFL season, it doesn't matter if I go 9-5. If the top bets went 1-2, I'm gonna hear about it. So top bets went 2-0. I guess that's something to celebrate. Obviously, Nuggets covering was huge for me. Not only did I bet them at -2 originally, but then I hung out with a couple friends and watched the game last night, and I put another full unit on the Nuggets at 2.5 right before tip. So I was in heavy on Denver. That was nice for me. Kamish is back. I'm sure you remember him from a few weeks ago. If you don't, he's been on the show a couple times now. Happy to have him. So we got, I think, 12 games to go through, but two of them are the Yankees-White Sox doubleheader, and we usually don't like to bet those, but we'll take a look at them. So let's go ahead and get started. Dodgers at Reds. I'm going right back to what paid me out yesterday. Cincinnati, team total, over 3.5 at -120. Yesterday, I got it at 4.5. It's at 3.5 when I looked this morning. 1 sec. So everyone's looking at this game, and they're immediately going to see, wow, Dodgers with a couple losses in a row, Graham Ashcraft on the mound, they're going to hit the shit out of them. Don't disagree at all. Graham Ashcraft's been terrible. But I think fewer people are going to look at the splits for Clayton Kershaw. And if they did look, they would see that this is actually not a great spot for him for a number of reasons. Number one, it's a day game. Kershaw's got a 4.15 ERA in his 4 day starts, 2.83 at night. Not the hugest split, but clearly more success in his 8 night starts than his 4 day starts. Number two, Dodgers are on the road. As I'm sure you've heard several times this year, Clayton Kershaw, at this point in his career, certainly this season, definitely more reliable at home. Again, bringing the ERA numbers into it, 4.70 on the road compared to 1.45 at home. And then the whip numbers tell the story too. His whip at home, 0.7 is 0.71. On the road, 1.41. So he's letting guys on base at nearly pretty much double the pace on the road than he is at home. And 3 is the right-handed bats. Cincinnati's, they dropped the lineup. They're actually starting 8 righties, and the 9th batter is De La Cruz, who's a switch hitter. So Kershaw's pitching to 9 right-handed bats today. His splits from against righties and lefties aren't crazy, but still he's allowing a 254 WOBA to lefties, a 295 WOBA against righties. So just a lot of things working against Clayton Kershaw here. And with the Reds bats seeming to be hot the last couple days, they were hot like a week and a half ago, cooled off. Maybe they're back. But 3.5 seems like a low number based on what we've seen in this series. And then Graham Ashcraft. I'm not opposed to betting an over in this game. First 5 over. I know when the first 2 games of a series are high scoring, it tends to go under in the third, but there's just way too many things pointing at the over here.
Yeah, definitely like your angle on the Reds to score some runs, but I mean, the most obvious angle is for Ashcraft to allow some runs. I mean, his last 6 starts have been just about as disastrous as could be. A 12.99 ERA, 4.62 WOBA. Guy's allowing 2.7 home runs per 9, and the weather at Cincy is sensational today. The Dodgers bats, I checked their lineup. Pretty much every key bat they have will be in the lineup today, with the exception of Will Smith. So Austin Barnes is going to play. Now, that is a huge drop-off, I must admit, but even Austin Barnes will likely do some damage against Mr. Ashcraft in his current state. And then on the other side, you mentioned the Kershaw splits. He's just not as good on the road. And on top of that, he's allowed 3+ runs through the first 5 in his last 5 or 6 road starts, averaging 3.7. And the Reds at home against lefties, this is a split that I've attacked most of the season. They're sitting 7th in OPS and WOBA in this spot at home against lefties. Last 9 lefties to visit Cincy this season own a 7.64 ERA, 1.91 WHIP, and a 1.7 home run per 9. Now, normally on a getaway day, I'd be concerned about guys sitting for LA, but already confirmed that really only Will Smith is sitting. It's only -110 on Bet365. I gotta play it.
You actually never. I know what your bet is, but you actually never said it.
That's how good I am.
It's first 5 over 5. I know that because I just got off the phone with him before we went live, but he actually never said it in that spiel. He likes the first 5 over 5.
I just go in, baby. I just go in.
Kabish, you got anything for this one?
Yeah, I'm not totally against you guys. I think there'll be some runs scored, but I like the Dodgers -1.5 here. I think the recent slide, if you want to call it that, for Kershaw, I think it's been a little bit overblown. I know you guys mentioned the home and away splits, the righty lefty splits. Some of that I think there's a little bit of value to, and it's certainly the fly ball rate and the hard hit rate is a little bit concerning with the 9 righties. But one thing from a psychological perspective that I think the Reds are shooting themselves in the foot a little bit here is when you have 9 righties in the lineup, if Kershaw gets into a groove early, he can really get into a groove. Like a lot of times you'll see at least one lefty in a lineup just to switch up the frame of reference on the mound for the opposing pitcher, make him look at things a little bit differently, make him rethink the pitch mix a little bit. But when you got 9 righties, you're basically facing, I mean, it's not the same guy over and over and over again, but it's like as a pitcher, you can really settle in and approach. Like typically in baseball, you have one approach against right-handed hitters, one approach against left-handed hitters. Kershaw can really hone in on taking care of the righties today. I think it's a little bit of a poor lineup construction. They should have at least found a way to get one lefty in there. So Kershaw, I think he's still getting ahead in the count. You look at his numbers last year. The away numbers: 284 FIP, 0.9 WHIP. Against righties last year, 259 FIP, 0.86 WHIP. Numbers were a lot better last year. So I think these splits that we're seeing early in the season, I would expect at least a little bit of positive regression. I don't know if that happens today at Great American Ballpark, but I'm willing to roll the dice here. Dodgers -1.5.
Yeah.
Listen, if Graham Ashcraft wants to let up 5 runs himself through the first 5, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick a side, definitely the Dodgers. I can't see them losing this game for sure. I'll probably use Dodgers in some kind of last-minute parlay somewhere. Something that'll be it'll be a terribly valued bet. But you know, right before it starts, I get all fired up for the games to start and throw down something that maybe isn't the smartest. But I would definitely lean Dodgers as well.
And honestly, and another thing too, like the -140 on the -1.5 is kind of ridiculous, I think, in any situation. If you wanted to take the money line and just parlay it with something, it's kind of like if you want to bet the Dodgers, but there's something else that you really like in the slate. Like I will get to it later, but I like the Astros tonight. Like if you like the Astros and you like the Dodgers, maybe just parlay them both. And then if you were going to bet the Astros anyway, then you might have an opportunity for like a nice plus money hit if you take the Dodgers money line and you parlay it in there. If the Dodgers lose, then you just fire on the Astros anyway.
I couldn't agree more, and I like the Astros too. The reason we didn't put it on the ticket is because prop beavers, Toronto's super hot, bro. We'll get to that. Let's move to the next one. Arizona at Washington. The Nats let me down last night. I don't love my bet in this one. In fact, I would almost say with certainty I'm not betting this, but just to share my notes and show you which way I'm leaning, I go first 5 under 4.5. I like both these starters a lot. Both of their splits are nice in this spot too. Both have shown us they can pitch during the day. Merrill Kelly has shown us that you can trust him almost anywhere. I really was having trouble finding an angle. This is definitely on the square side. I like both starting pitchers, so why not take the first 5 under? It's getaway day, so I always feel more comfortable on an under. When everything points to the under, the fact that it's a day game on the end of the series helps too. I don't like this one at all, so I'm just going to stop talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a tough one for me. This is a pass. I like Merrill Kelly. He's definitely been solid lately, but those Nats bats have been hot against righties, so not exactly sure how I can predict his outcome in this one. Probably should do fine. On the other side is Josiah Gray, and I don't exactly love the spot for him at home against a bunch of lefties. That has been a really sore spot for him thus far this season. And even going back to last year, it's really hard to trust Josiah Gray at home. On the road is where you really want to back that guy. So here I would probably lean like the Diamondbacks, but I don't really know if I want to lay that half run through the first 5. So just going to pass here. Don't want to lay that juice with Arizona.
I'm going the same way. I think it's Arizona or nothing in this spot. Debating again, like with the Dodgers on the money line, is it maybe like a Dodgers Diamondbacks, a little bit of a chalky parlay to start the day, something I'm taking a look at. But Merrill Kelly's really figured some things out against left-handed batters this year. Josiah Gray, I'm optimistic about him long term, but you look, there's like a huge differential between his ERA and his peripherals. The ERA is 3.09, the xERA 4.48, the FIPS 4.76. Still walking a lot of guys, not getting enough strikeouts to overcome some of those self-inflicted wounds that he's putting guys on base with. So, I mean, I think the Dodgers get some base runners here. You mentioned the splits, which Josiah Gray too as well with the platoon, and I mean it's rough even against righties, right? 277 opponent batting average. The lefties is really where the walks come into play. 16.2% walk rate this season against left-handed batters. So that's a situation where I'm looking like Arizona doesn't even have to earn their way on base. Josiah Gray gives him a base runner or two, and then Arizona has one big flyer. They have one ball in the gap that could be a couple of runs. So I think if you're looking at I think a lean in this spot, I might take some action here in the next hour and a half. I would look at the Diamondbacks -0.5 in the first 5.
D-backs first 5 run line. Okay. I mean, the Nats bats, I look at their, just like the last 14 days, and they're crushing the ball. And then they failed me the last couple times. I mean, they're not, if you look at their run totals, it just doesn't match up. So I don't know how much I trust the lineup as I was so big on them last night, and they let me down. They still have a soft spot in my heart because they did catch a lot of bets for me this year, but I really liked them last night. All right, let's move on to the next one. Twins at Rays. Rays or pass, I guess. I'm just going to say pass. Don't like this one.
Yeah, I would take a stab at the Rays at their current price. That line moved down all the way to -122.
Because of the pitching change, most likely, right?
Yeah, I mean, Chirinos is not exactly a guy that I'm like laying down the hammer to back, but I mean, look at the Twins' last 4 or 5 games. These bats look really, really bad right now. No Buxton in the lineup as well. Kamish has always said that these Twins tend to punt on day games. I could totally see Correa sitting as well. So just not exactly a spot I want to back those Minnesota bats. I like Bailey Ober. He's been excellent this season, but I feel like he's due for a little bit of regression. I don't know if Bailey Ober is like top 15 pitcher level. So I just think to get the Rays at home, who are just absolute wagons at this point, they've now won their last 6 or 7 games overall, including at that Boston series. To get them at this price is just too good to pass up. I trust the offense. And that's really the gist of it. It squares all shit, but that's how I would lean.
I'm going to take the under 8. I know it's at 7.5 right now. I'm looking on DK or MGM is usually where I'll buy a half a run here to get the push potential. But as much as I don't like Bailey Ober, the one thing that he does a really good job of is he makes hitters earn whatever they're going to get. So you look at his game logs going backwards here. First pitch strike percentage, 82%, 79%, 62%, 63%, 67, 79, and that's all the way back to the beginning of May here. So what the reason that's important is because you get ahead in the count, especially against a subpar lineup. You mentioned Buxton's out of the lineup, Correa's in the lineup, but like some of these bats, especially look at the bottom of the order with Kepler, Vasquez, Taylor, like even the top of the order with like there's just, and I mean this is the Chirinos part of this as well. Chirinos is another guy. Like Chirinos probably not going to give up a ton of runs just because of the opponent, but then you go look at Ober and you look at the lineup that the Rays are rolling out. They're like good lineup, but if you get ahead, you're going to make them earn everything, right? And you're playing at a pitcher-friendly venue in the Trop. So I think the under 8 in this spot, you're going to need Chirinos to hold his own. But I think Bailey Ober also holds his own. It's a day game. Again, like teams usually don't take batting practice before day games. It's you get home late, you get there to the ballpark a little bit later, so you might not go through your whole pregame routine. Typically tends to favor pitchers. Not the most inspiring starting pitching matchup, but I think it makes sense on both sides here that at least one of these teams I think is going to put up a dud offensively, and the pitching is good enough, I would say.
I agree. I feel like I always just feel more comfortable on the under in the day games, and I wish I had some data. I probably should keep track of that, but it's just something I've noticed. Let's move on to the next one. Baltimore at Milwaukee, and I feel like I might be on an island here by myself, but I like the O's. When I looked before, it was pretty much a pick 'em, so I'll put -110. You know what? Let's get an updated line and see where it's at. -112 for Baltimore is the consensus line, so I'll put that on there. I'm sure if you line shop, you can get this at -108, -105 somewhere, but I like the O's. Basically, I'm calling bullshit on the Milwaukee Brewers bats. Prop Beaver's about to tell you they're hot. They're coming around. Let's get on the trend. No, this team sucks. I've had success fading this lineup this year. But I do agree. I mean, if you isolate the last 7 days, the Brewers are 14th in WRC plus versus right-handed pitching. I mean, that's probably the first time I've seen them in the top half of the league of basically any offensive category this whole season. Where obviously I'm looking at Kyle Bradish with three straight really shaky road starts, and it's concerning. But still, even with those road starts, I still trust him more than I trust Colin Ray. I don't trust Colin Ray at all. But the argument you could make for Colin Ray is he's had a tough bit of luck as far as the schedule. He's definitely pitched against some tough lineups, but still, Baltimore's a tough lineup. Orioles, I'm actually 0-2 on this series, which sucks. I took the Baltimore game 1, and then yesterday we took the first 5 under 4. Both losses, so I need a win on this one. Baltimore facing the sweep. I'm riding with the O's.
I like the first 5 over here. I know it's a day game, but quite frankly, I really don't care because everything is leading me to a high-scoring affair through the first 5. Kyle Bradish's home-away splits on the year don't look that drastic, but look at his last 4 road starts. 6.27 ERA, 3.96 WOBA, a 5+ FIP, and that's not great. And now he's going to face the Brewers bats who Kyle wants to underestimate him. But look at the last 4 righties to face the Brewers. They're combining for a 2.6 home run allowed per 9 and 9.85 ERA. They're cranking righties right now. I mean, look, Dean Kramer yesterday, we all thought this was going to be his easiest competition he had faced during his hot streak. Guy goes out there and gets absolutely shelled into a different planet. I think the Brewers could get runs off Mr. Bradish early. On the other side, we got Colin Rea, and there's a glaring weak spot for this man. It's at home against lefties, where he's sporting a dreadful 4.35 WOBA, an unreal 4.2 home runs allowed per 9, and a 9.29 FIP. Orioles likely to roll out 6 lefties today. And while the Orioles bats did disappoint us yesterday, let's not forget that the previous 6 righty starters to face them combined for a 7.25 ERA, 1.41 WHIP. There's a reason this over 4.5 is juiced to the gills on most books. So I don't mind 5 at plus 100 where you could get it at. And I also don't mind the 4.5 at minus 125 like we got it on Bet 365.
Yeah, I don't know why this is a pick'em. I'll be honest. Like I know people don't love Kyle Bradish, but I mean I don't know how you get behind the Brewers bats. I don't know how you get behind Colin Ray in this spot. You mentioned the anticipated 6 lefties in the Orioles lineup. I'm gonna wait for confirmation because you never know on these day games in the afternoon. If teams usually roll out 6 lefties, it might be 5, it might be 4. You never know if the guys are gonna sit. But 7.08 FIP. 263 opponent batting average, 147 WHIP against left-handed batters this year. I mean, if you can't trust Kyle Bradish to just do a little bit better than that, going through this Brewers lineup, I don't know what you're doing here. I know you mentioned the last few days with the Brewers. I'm much more of a last 14, last 30 guy when I'm looking at offensive numbers. And if you look at the Brewers against right-handed pitching since May 15th, they are 24th in OPS, and in ISO they are 16th. So it's a bottom half offense. The Orioles, I 1000% believe in their offense. I think they're very strong fundamentally, especially up the middle. You look at I know with Mullins being out, it's been a little bit different, but especially catcher and then up the middle defensively, that's a little thing that it's hard to quantify with a lot of these modern metrics that you look at. Defense is that last part of baseball games that's it's been hard for all the data nerds to really sit there and be like, how much does this matter? We look at range factor, things like that. But I just like Baltimore. I think they're a much better team. And I mean, at a pick 'em price, I just feel like why the heck not?
What you just said is exactly, you just mirrored my exact thoughts about this game. But it said it better myself.
Y'all are sleeping on the Brewers surge. Get ready. Get ready.
Hey, I'm on the Brewers to win the division. So it's like, if they win, I'm not going to be crazy disappointed, but...
You mean, wait, hold up. You mean they're going to beat out the 80-win Pirates team? Whoa!
Well, no, I'm on the Pirates 60-1 to win the division too, but that was more just like what if type of thing. So it's like I have the Brewers and the Pirates, Brewers at plus 200, Pirates at 60-1 in that division. So if one of those two teams wins, I'll be fine. Hopefully the Reds chill out a little bit here. They're looking a little too good as of late.
Yeah,
they really are rolling.
That kid, holy shit, that kid De La Cruz.
My sister was 4th row behind home plate last night, man. It was like I'm just having FOMO the whole time. She's sending me pictures and everything else.
That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
he
that
hits
is
the
awesome.
ball. It is violent looking.
Yeah.
All right. Giants at Rockies. Stand up, Rockies Nation. It's time. I've been passing on this series. I have not placed a bet on this series yet until now. It's time to me to get off the sidelines, get into the game, hop into the ring, take a shot with the Rockies. I like the first 5. I like the full game. All right. So Commission's the pitching guy, and he's probably about, and I'm predicting he's about to come on the mic and tell me that these numbers from Chase Anderson can't be trusted. But I don't care, because these numbers are good, man. So in his 4 appearances at Coors Field this year, 3 of them starts, 18 2/3 innings, just 3 earned runs allowed, and a 1.45 ERA. In Coors Field, that's crazy. Now, is that sustainable? Of course not. But it gives me some hope knowing that this dude is capable of great performances in this ballpark. Now, on the other side, we got Alex Cobb, and I love fading Alex Cobb on the road, man. I don't trust this dude at all on the road. You know what? Actually, Prop Beaver was here the other day, and we were talking about Alex Cobb, and he called him Cobbster. I was like, don't ever give that dude a nickname in my house again. Don't ever give Alex Cobb a nickname in my house. So, yeah, Alex Cobb looked like a prime Pedro Martinez in his last start. I actually wrote that in my notes. He was like 7 2/3 shutout innings. He looked great at home, and that's what I'm trying to say. You scroll back to 2022. You scroll back to 2021. ERAs in the 5s on the road, 2s at home. This is not new. Want to know what happened? Well, Alex Cobb pitched at Coors Field twice last season. You want to know what happened? 12 innings pitched. Okay, he went 6 innings to start. That's cool. 20 hits and 10 earned runs. The Rockies bats lifetime, they're hitting 397 with a 1075 OPS off the Cobbster. Yeah, I'm fading this guy. Where it gets a little shaky, the Giants bullpen has been so much better. They've been producing so much better than the Rockies bullpen. So it's hard for me to sit here and tell you that in the second half of the game, the Giants don't have the edge. They do. Their bullpen has been so much better, but it's a little used up. All their guys should be available, but they have some miles on the tires. I mean, they're Tyler Rogers, Taylor Rogers, and who's their main guy? Duvall. They all pitched yesterday, but like again, they should be available. But I'm on the Rockies at this big plus price.
Yeah, listen, I love you, Cobby, but I can't back you today. Definitely like the Rockies here through the first 5. Now, I understand that Anderson's expected numbers are horrible. I also understand that through his MLB career, he's never pitched nearly this good in his entire life. But some guys just get lucky for quite a bit of time. I mean, Bryce Elder, this entire season, expected numbers-wise, has been dreadful. Actual numbers-wise, has been one of the best pitchers in terms of, I guess, production. One of the best, I mean, like top 20, top 30, not like top 5, top 10. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Anderson just continues to pitch well in spots where I just expect him to get lit up. So I really don't know. I think that he could do just enough here. And then, yeah, you pretty much said everything I have to say about Alex Cobb. The numbers against the lineup are bad. He's a lot more vulnerable on the road this year. His last 2 starts at Coors were not great at all, 10 hits allowed in each. And the Rockies are 3rd in OPS against righties at Coors this season, have still won their last 12 and 19 home games. Giants are just 4 and 5 in their last 9. I think at a plus price through the first 5 for these bats to come out hungry and try to avoid the sweep, I will take that risk for Chase Anderson to fall apart. Yeah.
Kamish, was my prediction correct that you're about to come and tell us that Chase Anderson's numbers are BS?
A little bit. He's someone. This is a total pass for me, but like the reason it's a pass for me is because I agree with you on Alex Cobb. Like intuitively, you think ground ball guy at Coors Field, that should help. Like he should have good results pitching in the altitude like that. But it's a little interesting. Like his batted ball metrics, he gets way fewer ground balls on the road than he does at home. The line drive percentage goes way up, meaning that hitters are seeing the ball a lot better against him for whatever reason on the road. The thing with Chase Anderson is, this dude has a 33.3% ground ball rate against lefties, 36.2 against righties. So like that's horrific. Like there's like Bryce Elder, you mentioned, like he's getting a lot of ground balls, you get a lot of double plays, like sometimes that can help you
For reference, what's like a good ground ball rate for someone that doesn't look at numbers like that?
Yeah, it's like I mean, like mediocre's in the 40s. Alex Cobb, for example, is around 60%. Like Framber Valdez in the 60s. Like 60s is truly elite.
Wow. Okay.
40s, 50s is decent. So like when you look at Chase Anderson in the 30s, and then you look at his line drive rate, 27.3% against lefties, 21% against righties. Like they're seeing the ball very, very well against him. They're putting some good swings on the baseball. The very interesting thing with Chase Anderson is, and this comes down, I haven't actually been able to see him pitch. Like he's not someone that I circle on the schedule to go watch him. But looking at the data here, he doesn't allow many hard hit baseballs. So like his average exit velocity is not sterling because like when guys do hit the baseball hard, they're hitting it very hard. But the frequency, so like you think about like if you're looking at this like a histogram almost, maybe this is like a little too nerdy, but like you're looking at the histogram, like there's baseballs that are being hit 110 miles an hour, but then there's a lot of soft contact as well. So I don't know. Like I don't know what's gonna happen today. I don't know what the Giants are gonna do. Like Prop Beaver said, man, it's like there are pitchers in Major League Baseball that can be lucky for an extended period of time. In a small sample size, honestly, could be 30 starts. Like you could have an entire season. Dylan Cease did this like 3 years ago, faded him every single time he took the mound, and he outperformed his peripherals by like 2.5 runs for the season. So it is what it is. Like it's a pass for me, but I'm not going to talk either of you off the Colorado stuff. I think the read on Alex Cobb makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, one thing I just want to add as well, I see Stephen Bowman said Cobb under his K prop is interesting. Yes, that's one of the main plays I'm looking at today. I haven't locked it in yet, but I just like it. I know the sharper books are pricing that under near minus 140 in terms of Caesars having at minus 143, but you can still get that on FanDuel at minus 112. I just know that the Rockies have been great at plate discipline at home this season, one of the best in the league. And Cobb's last 2 trips at Coors, 3 and 4 Ks, allowing 10 plus hits. If he allows even 8 plus hits today, it's going to be quite hard to hit that K total. So yeah, definitely like that under.
That's a good note.
According to the comments, the Nats game just got postponed, by the way. Not one of my favorite games, so whatever. Just letting everyone know that.
Awesome. I'm glad I don't have to revisit it. But
yeah.
Quick note on the Cobb thing too, because you mentioned Caesars. Caesars is a very sharp book, and typically when Caesars has the most juice line in one direction, pretty high hit rate, especially when there's a very stark contrast with FanDuel. Like FanDuel is usually the book where it's like what's going on here? Like why are you at minus 112 and Caesars is at minus 143? So I have Cobb projected like right around 4 strikeouts today. So I think if you get the minus 112, I think that makes sense. I wouldn't play the minus 143, but the fact that there is a minus 143 at a sharp book like Caesars, I think is just another good sign in that direction.
Agreed, dude. Agreed. I've been looking at that pretty much all season. I can't say I've had a lot of my other bets have been horrible, but my K bets have probably been my best market thus far. And I agree with you. FanDuel just keeps handing out these like beautiful ass lines, while Caesars is pricing the shit out of me. So yeah, I mean, FanDuel's the book I've been cashing out on for props. I feel like FanDuel's been a great book to look at thus far.
Yeah, I did.
Sure. Yep.
I noticed that when we do the tickets, under every single bet, we give the sports book that has the best line for that bet, and we almost never type Caesars. It's Barstool a lot. We type Barstool a lot. FanDuel, Bet365 a decent amount, and BetMGM. I'd say those are the 4 that usually have the best value on the bets we like. Let's move on to the next one. White Sox at Yankees. This is, pass for me. I don't like the doubleheaders because the way they use the bullpens, sometimes people say it doesn't even make sense. I've lost my money too many times on just some weird-ass management based on the doubleheader, so I'm passing.
Pass. Doubleheader, pass. That's as simple as it is for me.
I'm not betting either of these games in New York today. I'm honestly a little surprised that they haven't been postponed yet. Like talking to people that live in the city, obviously everybody's seen the videos going around. Like the air quality there is horrific.
Yeah.
And I just don't want any part of that. That just seems like some crazy variance waiting to happen, even if those games get played.
We're in Jersey, and I can say it does look better today.
Does it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably about 30 miles from Yankee Stadium, and it definitely yesterday was crazy. It does look better, but I mean, it's still, you still go outside and it smells like someone's having a huge campfire right outside your door.
Yeah, Kyle said it best yesterday. Yesterday was a day out of the Snyder Cut. It was fucking yellow and gross outside.
Yeah, it looked like Zack Snyder did the coloring. Detroit at Philly. I'm going back. I don't care that the it's not Reese Olson. Now it's this guy named Holton. Not even going to pretend to know or care who that is. I'm sticking with the same bet. My angle was I really like the spot for Zach Wheeler. He's yet to really show. Zach Wheeler, we know he's a dominant pitcher at home, and he really hasn't shown us that this year, and I feel like this is the perfect spot for him to start getting those home numbers down. The sportsbooks have the Detroit team total set at 2.5, and it's not even juiced. 2.5 for the game, and it's not even juiced. So that means our angle, because I think Prop Beaver is pretty much on the same page as me in this one. Our angle was we don't think Detroit's going to score runs in this game. Seems like odds makers are in full agreement with us. I already went through all the reasons. I went through all of Zach Wheeler stuff on yesterday's live stream, so I'm not going to do it all again. Go click on yesterday's video and watch. I went through some Zach Wheeler stuff. So yeah, Philly minus 1.5. I also like Prop Beaver's bet. He's on the Phillies double result.
Yeah, just running it back from yesterday. I'm on the same page as Kyle. Don't want to just regurgitate everything I said about Wheeler yesterday, but I think he's going to have a phenomenal start. Tigers' bats are bruised and battered right now without Riley Green, Verling, Carpenter in that lineup. So, yeah, huge fade of that lineup. And then really on the other side, it's just like we just need the Phillies to score like 2 runs through the first 5 is my opinion. Because they scored 2 runs through the first 5, and I think we're home free. I'm not the biggest fan that it's Holton instead of Olson today because Holton's a lefty, but you look at the last 2 weeks and the Phillies WRC plus against lefties has skyrocketed to 5th. They've been able to hit up some lefties lately, and Holton, while he's definitely been solid on the season, this is going to be his first major league start. He just pitched against these Phillies 2 days ago for 2 innings, so some of these guys have already seen him. And then on top of that, the Tigers bullpen is mainly going to be what's pitching today because I only expect Holton to go 2, maybe 3 innings. Tigers bullpen is really slacking as of late, bottom 12 of most ranks over the last 2 weeks. So I'm not afraid to back the Phils on the first 5 run line and the full game, combine the both, and it's plus 105. I like my chances here.
Tuesday, the Phillies rolled out Taijuan Walker, right-handed pitcher. Tigers had only 3 lefties in the lineup, 6 righties. You look at Zach Wheeler this season, 30% K rate against right-handed batters, 24% against left-handed batters. 7.5 is this kind of dumb line that FanDuel is hanging out there. And again, you can look at Caesars is at 8.5, minus 102. They have more juice than MGM, 8.5 plus 110. DraftKings is 8.5 plus 120. Both of those books I think are less sharp than Caesars. So you got the market giving you some good indicators here as well. Genuinely, anytime FanDuel has a playable line at a full market number lower, that is just a really good sign that you're onto something good here. So the fact that you have an 8.5 juiced at Caesars and you have a FanDuel only 34 cents more juiced at a full market number lower, over 7.5, I think makes sense. Might want to wait just to confirm lineup here because the K percentage splits are pretty stark with Wheeler, righty, lefty. But I mean, God, 7.5. This just looks like a really, really dumb line. Volatile play, right? Like Wheeler's had 3 strikeouts in a game as recently as this month, but it, like you said, the prop for the lineup is watered down. I think if we see 6 righties, I think Wheeler absolutely shoves in this spot.
Yeah, and I went through the Tigers' recent numbers. I think I did last 30 days against right-handed pitching, and I mean, they're bottom in everything. They just completely fell off. They had a nice little hot streak there, but that's in the past. That's a month ago. This Tigers lineup's not hitting. Maybe it's because the injury, like Prop Beaver said, losing Riley Green. But who knows? All I know is they're not producing.
I like the play, Kamish. Last 3 righties to face Detroit. Taijuan Walker, 8 Ks. Aaron Nola, 12 Ks. Michael Kopech, 9 Ks. The now last 5 or 6 righties to face Detroit have gone over their K prop since Green left the lineup. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, I like the sound of that too. Maybe. How many strikeouts did Berea have last night, Beaver?
His bitch ass only had 4 strikeouts.
No, but that's what I said. Because remember on yesterday, I liked the Angels a lot. And I was like, I don't like this minus 142 price. Maybe I'll go Angels money line and Berea 4+. Remember I said that? It would have hit. I didn't bet it. I bet the Angels money line juice to the gills. They still won. Astros at Blue Jays. I'm on the Stros here. Prop Beaver is high. He's about to just spew off some madness about why you should fade Framber Valdez. Everything he says is just nonsense. So Framber Valdez is pitching. Houston coming off back-to-back losses. Just right off the bat. Okay, I'm liking the Astros before I even look at anything. Now, Toronto's lineup, you would think that they're dominant against left-handed pitching because they're so loaded with right-handed bats. I mean, pretty much, I think it's the first 6 batters in their order are righties. Bichette, Guerrero, Chapman, Springer, Kirk, Merrifield, they're all righties. But weirdly enough, the Blue Jays do not have the greatest numbers against lefties. In fact, in the last 14 days, they're just 23rd against left-handed pitching. The Blue Jays have been a lot more effective against right-handed pitching. So I like that for Framber. And to drive that point home a bit further, Framber Valdez is actually a lefty that has better numbers against right-handed bats than he does against lefties. Actually, Framber Valdez struggles against lefties. Look at the OPS numbers in his splits here. 864 OPS lefties have against him instead of a 575 from righties. Framber's also been dominant on the road. He's only made 4 road starts this year, just 4. But he's 4-0 with a 2.25 ERA and an 0.93 WHIP. All signs point to trust Framber Valdez in the spot. And look, Jose Barrios has been great. He's shown us he can pitch on the road. He's back at home where he's always been a solid guy to back. But the Astros facing a 3rd straight loss with their guy on the mound. One of their guys. They got a couple, but I love Houston in the spot. And the people will probably say something about Toronto's bullpen. Yeah, it's been better than Houston's. That's it. But basically picking with Framber Valdez, I'm taking it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna like go on the hill and like plant the flag and say like the Blue Jays are winning today.
You're not gonna plant the flag?
No, I'm not gonna plant the flag. I'm not gonna Braveheart. But I do like them. I just like I can't get over the fact that the team just keeps winning and they keep winning in the ugliest of ways. Like, yeah, Framber Valdez, the dude's definitely been dominant this year. I usually love backing him on the road. He's 4-0 in his road starts this year. Everything's pointing towards Framber Valdez pitching well here today. But, I mean, the last 2 times he faced the Blue Jays, he didn't pitch all that well. And on top of that, the Blue Jays' current bats, despite struggling against lefties, well, they've had a pretty good time batting against him. 298 average, 876 OPS through 47 at-bats. So I'm not saying that they go crazy off of him, but if they could even manage just 2 runs off of him, I like the spot because I think Jose Barrios, listen, the guy's on the kill spree, and I think he continues that today. The Astros numbers I feel are a bit inflated from that athletic series offensively against righties, but we just saw Bassett shut them down. We just saw Gausman bounce back and shut them down. Jose Barrios is a much better back at home, and he also has had some really great recent history against the Astros. In his last 4 games against the Astros, the dude's 2-1, 2.19 ERA. He only allowed 2 home runs during that span, and now he's going to be at home against a bunch of righties. I just think that the guy could go out and deal here today, and then talk about the bullpen disparity, definitely leaning towards Toronto. And we're getting it at a plus price. I don't know. These Jays just have a horseshoe up their ass right now. Toast said that about the Pirates earlier in the season. That's how I feel about the Blue Jays right now. The bats aren't even playing well. They keep winning games. Last 8 games that Alek Manoah didn't start, they've won. When that cancer's out of the lineup, all of a sudden, they start winning games. What do you know? It's crazy.
Well, probably I cannot condone anything on Jose Barrios on the mound. But I will say, if you do like the Blue Jays in this spot, you like the bullpen, you think the Astros bats are overinflated, I do think Barrios has done some good things as of late. First 7 starts, 53.3 first pitch strike percentage. You look at just his last 5 starts, 71.9%. So he's being a lot more aggressive in the zone. He's working ahead, which obviously gives you more options. And for someone who doesn't sequence his pitches very well, if you get ahead, it makes life a lot easier on you, and it gives you a lot more margin for error. But I'm with you, Sauce. Like I don't know how anybody could take the Blue Jays bats against a lefty. So maybe you isolate it to the first 5 if you're worried about the bullpen. But you look at since May 15th, Toronto 30th in OPS, 28th in ISO against left-handed pitching. You look at their walk rate, they're 25th. So they're not really having productive at bats. Dig a little bit deeper, you look at their batted ball metrics. They are dead last, 30th in line drive percentage, which is essentially like the best type of contact that you can make on a regular basis. Framber Valdez gets a lot of balls hit into the ground. One of the premier guys in terms of inducing ground balls in the game. Toronto since May 15th, fifth most ground balls in baseball against left-handed pitching. So I think there's just a lot. There's a lot that Toronto's got to overcome with the bats here. I think if Toronto does find a way to win this game, it's like a 4-2 type of game, or like 4-3, or they get to the bullpen. I wouldn't throw that out, but Valdez is going to get into the 6th or 7th inning. So I don't know if you're going to have a lot of opportunities there. So I think the Astros, again, it's a little bit like I feel like with the Orioles today. I mean, just why the heck not? Even money. I'm not the biggest Astros fan in the world. I think they're significantly less talented than they were last year and in years past, but I just do not like the Blue Jays at all in this spot today.
Blue Jays 2-0, baby. Lock it up. Take the
under eight. Like, I mean, if you like the Blue Jays, the under 8 should be like the Max Whale bomb lock of the century today.
It's too easy. It's too easy.
Oh, it's too easy, he says.
It's too easy.
Did you hear the one part, Prop Beaver? 30th dead last in line drive rate against lefties.
Ooh. Yeah, I know. Ooh. Lots of hard hit ground balls coming.
Oh, lots of hard hit ground balls. Okay.
Let's hope those Astros fielders are up today.
I will say, like, there are times where I have a read where, like, I feel something, and teams, if you can just put the ball in play which the Blue Jays do at a really good rate against lefties and righties, if you just don't strike out, you give yourself an opportunity to have a horseshoe up your ass, because you can't have good luck on balls in play if you don't put the ball in play. But if you put the balls in play, can you find a C&I single up the middle? Can you get one between short and third? Can you just have some good luck for 9 innings of baseball? Sometimes, right? Not going to happen today. I'm telling you that right now, but possibility.
Yeah, there was a ton of that in the Boston-Cleveland game yesterday. The Cleveland made an error, and the Red Sox took a 2-1 lead, and I had Cleveland as my bet of the day, and I was cursing at the TV. This is bullshit. The next inning, Boston made 3 errors to give the lead back. And I was like, all right. Karma came back for me. But, like, just all infield singles, overthrows, just like ugly baseball. Speaking of which, Boston at Cleveland. Nice little segue there. Unintentional. This one's, I'll say Cleveland, but it's more Cleveland or pass. So I'll say Cleveland money line or pass. I like the Guardians right now, and it's almost like I should apologize to them for all the shit I talked to them for the first month and a half of the season, because they've paid me out a couple times recently. The guy pitching for Boston is Matt Dermody. Maybe Kamish can tell us a little bit about him. He's thrown 26 major league pitches in the last 3 years. So, I mean, it's, I guess, a bullpen day for Boston. Maybe we see Pivetta come in. Maybe we see Corey Kluber, because I guess they're both in the bullpen now. I don't know. I like Aaron Savali, and I don't trust the Boston bats. So I would, gun to my head, I would bet Cleveland, but most likely just not placing a bet on this.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I just had like a bigger sample size with Dermody. I mean, Kyle was telling me he has like 28 pitches in the majors, so very, very, very small sample size.
No. He was in the bullpen in 16, 17, 18. He just 26 pitches in the last 3 years, I think it was.
Oh, he's one of those. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, all of his stats from 2016 or so, you can essentially throw out the window. And then, yeah, it's a lefty against Cleveland, who they've been struggling against pretty much all season. I don't know. Is that a situation I want to lay minus 140 juice in? I don't know. Then I would look at the Savali K prop, because Boston was striking out a lot against righties over the last 3 or so weeks. But then as of late, I believe the last 4 or 5 righties against Boston went under. So I don't know. Likely just going to pass here.
I don't have anything crazy sharp. Dermody he's stretched out in the minors. He started 8 games. He's gone as deep as 7 innings. So it shouldn't be a bullpen day. I mean, he should go out there and try to eat innings. But you look at just his last 2 starts. His last start, 2 innings, 5 earned, 3 strikeouts. The start before that, 7 innings, 3 earned, 11 strikeouts. He went 6 innings or more in 4 of his last 5 starts. You look at his splits in the minor leagues this year. He's been pretty damn good against right-handed bats, but whip of almost 2, so about 2 base runners per inning against left-handed batters. So be a situation where I probably wait and I want to look at a lineup here. I don't want to. I'm not taking minus 140 with Savali. I'm just not. His stuff isn't that great. Boston, this is just a pass. For right now, it's a pass. I might have something in my free article that I put out later for Roto Grinders, but right now this is a pass.
All right. So yeah, if you're interested in what he's going to put out, just his Twitter account is right there, and he tweets the articles out when he publishes them. So Commish Film Room right underneath his name. All right. Next game. Mets at Braves.
Give us the sharp play of the century.
Stop, bro. First 5 under 4.5. Ooh, Verlander versus Strider. Kyle, how'd you ever arrive at that? I can see you're a real pro. Verlander has great career numbers against the Braves, and I don't trust the Mets bats, and I think I like Strider a lot. Obviously, this number, the fact that it's at 4.5 at pretty much even odds on most books tells you that the books think this has a shot of going over. So yeah, definitely on the square side, but I'm not even going to talk about this game because I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one. I would probably almost laughed there. I would go with the Mets first 5 money line, just at the pure price of like plus 150. I mean, if I'm getting that with Verlander, I'm going to take it every time. I understand that Spencer Strider's a stud, but he does consistently allow 2 runs through the first 5. So if he allows 2 runs through the first 5 here and Justin Verlander deals, then I think we're in a pretty great position to cash that plus 150. As you can see, you like the under. Strider did pitch exceptionally well in his last 2 home starts against the Mets, but he didn't make it past 5 innings either time. So they did give him a bit of trouble. And when he saw them earlier in the year, they were able to get 4 runs off the guys. I'm not saying that they're going to go up and spark the guy again, but if we could get even just 2 runs, give me 2 runs, Mets. And I think we could cash that at a big plus price. So yeah,
is Alonso playing?
Not sure about that.
He's I assume he wasn't because he's listed as day-to-day yesterday. But I just went and looked at Roto Wire this morning. I guess that's your rival. But he was listed in the projected starting lineup, so I don't know if they're just not updating or.
I don't know. This guy, he was in a car crash and the car flipped like 8 times before spring training last year, and I think he still went to the field the next day. So.
Just tell Pete it's a home run derby and he'll get out there.
The guy in the comments called him Turdlander.
I don't know. I'm undefeated fading Spencer Strider this year. I took his under 7.5 Ks his last time out against Arizona. Ended up right at 7. That was at plus money. I take the team total against Spencer Strider quite frequently, either in the first 5 or the full game. You typically get it at 1.5, or for a full game, sometimes you get a flat 3, which I just think is absurd against anybody in the major leagues, not named a healthy Jacob deGrom. So I'm in the same boat with you here, Prop Beaver. I think over 1.5 first 5 for the Mets. I think over 3.5 full game. If I'm more so on the team total overs if Alonso is in the lineup, so I will wait to confirm that. But I mean, like, people don't agree with me on this, and I'm okay with it. Like, Spencer Strider right now is the odds-on favorite to win the National League MVP or Cy Young Award. I'm just not overly impressed with him as a pitcher. Like, he's got a dynamic fastball, he's got a great slider, but in terms of sequencing, in terms of like how he progresses through a game, like, it's just he gets a lot of swings and misses. But against division teams, like, and I know there's not a ton of data to support this, right? Like, Phillies in the division, the Mets are in the division, Miami's in the division. Like, they're like teams that are familiar with him. I'm surprised they have not had more success against him. But the Mets, you mentioned 4 runs in 5 innings on May 1st. Like, you're a fastball slider guy. Eventually, that's gonna catch up to you in some regard. So, like, he's gonna keep getting strikeouts because the stuff is so good. But as a pitcher, I'm not overly impressed. So I think 2 runs, which you've seen each of his last 4 starts, 6 of his last 7, he's given up at least 2 runs. Like, 1.5 in the first 5, I don't think is an outrageous bet to take the over. And the money line, like you said, like, I mean, if you trust Verlander and, you know, Sauce is on the first 5 under 4.5. So if you think the Mets can get 2, you think the Braves are getting 2 or less, like, I think plus 150 on the first 5 money line is a good wager as well.
Yeah, that's funny. You took the team total over 1.5 in the first 5 because he just said on the phone before we went live, he's like, the Strider's opponent scores 2 runs every single time. He was just saying that earlier today.
Well, if you look at aces, this is just kind of like a phenomenon that happens all the time in baseball. And I'm not a huge team total guy. Like I usually look elsewhere on the market, but when you face guys like Garrett Cole, you face guys like McClanahan's or other aces around the league, the first 5 team total is almost always going to be like a half or 1.5. And like you could have a really good start and give up 2 runs in 6 innings.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I think that would cash more often than not, unless your name is the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, I agree. There's one guy that I work with at RG who, like, almost just as a systems play, anytime an ace is on the mound, he'll take the opponent's team total over, either first 5 or full game. Because, again, like, the full game team total is going to be a derivative of the fact that the starter's in there. So if the starter, you're projecting to give up 1.5, you'll never see a team total greater than 3.5 in those situations. But you figure if you go 6 innings and you don't really like the bullpen, if you think that you might be able to get 2 off the starter, then you only need 2 off the bullpen. Like,
I bet you that would turn a profit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, he does it all the time. Like, it's just not my market. Like, I just don't attack that a lot, but he has a lot of success with it and he swears by it.
That philosophy is true across all sports. Superstar names just get overvalued. Like in the NBA, when so it'll be like Sixers -5, Embiid's out, then it's like Sixers +2.5. Like, what? One player's not worth 8 points, and that's just across the board. Superstar names, just the public overreacts to them being out or overreacts to them being in. So that what you just said makes complete sense to me. All right. Last game, Cubs at Angels. Am I an asshole for wanting to bet the Cubs at +115? I mean, I don't love it. I'm probably going to bet it because it's the last game of the night, and prop people will be here working, so we'll have it on. So I'll probably put a few dollars on it. That being said, Drew Smyly's last couple starts, alarming. They were bad. I actually didn't even write a ton of notes about this because, like, I don't even feel like it's a good bet. It's a lefty-lefty matchup here. I've had success this season backing the Cubs against lefties. That being said, their numbers against lefties in the last 2 weeks aren't even great. In fact, analytically, if you just go by OPS, team OPS numbers, the Angels have hit lefties better than the Cubs. But still, like I said, I've had success backing the Cubs against lefties, and I think they get to Detmers. It's just a matter of whether or not Smyly shows up. So I'll ride with the Cubs with plus money. I'm not going to kick the door down to get you to tail me on this one, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is just both plays I like are just so square. I like the Cubs. I would do it through the first 5. I refuse to back that Cubs bullpen. They came in and screwed us so savagely.
Yeah, but the Angels bullpen has not performed well either. I mean, the Cubs, I was just looking at it, in the last 14 days, Cubs are like 28th and the Angels are like 25th. So like they've been just as bad.
That's why the bet is a set it and forget it over 9. Reed Detmers has just not impressed me thus far. Now going to face a Cubs lineup that's been smashing lefties as of late. Don't have the numbers in front of me, but we backed them the other day against Tyler Anderson, and they lit him up for 4 runs. They've been lighting up lefties regularly at home, on the road. It's the only split where this team can get runs, and they're usually undervalued because of their season-long splits overall. So, yeah, I definitely like the Cubs to score some runs here. And then on the other side, I mean, as you were saying, Drew Smyly's starting to fall off a little bit. He's definitely more exploitable on the road. Now going to face an Angels lineup that has been smashing lefties pretty consistently the entire season. They're also at home. So I think a lot of things are working for runs through the first 5. And then once you get to the back half, you have 2 pens that have just been truly awful this season. It squares all shit, but it was squares all shit yesterday and it cashed with ease. So I'm going to go with the over at 9 here.
Yeah, my look would be the over or nothing. I'm not going to bet this game until if I do really late today, because I don't know. I like to save the last game for the day. Is either if I need a cash, I might roll with it. If I've already secured profit, then I might find something fun to do with the game. But I think the Cubs, like you said, I mean, they've been struggling a little bit against lefties as of late, but depends on what metric you look at. The Angels have been crushing left-handed pitching all season since May 15th. They're 5th in OPS. They're 4th in ISO. So you should be able to rely on the Angels to score at least a few runs in this spot against Smyly. Detmers has been underwhelming. I don't think he gets deep into this game. So I think maybe the first 5 over would make more sense. but I mean, there should just be runs scored. Like neither one of these pitching staffs, top to bottom, is really outstanding. Again, nothing official for me at this point, but I'm not going to talk you off of an over first 5 or full game in this spot.
Yeah. If for the total, I would lean over as well. The total opened at 8 and moved to 9 too. So obviously they didn't like any of the action coming in on the over. Reacted to it. All right, so that's the last game. Let's do a community parlay. Unless you guys have anything else you want to add. All right, sounds like community parlay is the play. You guys know the drill. Throw your favorite parlay leg into the comments, and we'll build a parlay that'll lose. This has the lowest hit rate ever. Man, this is just not a good baseball day. There's like 12, 13 games on, too. You would think. There's only like 3 bets I really like.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm a bit disappointed as well. But that's really Thursday. It's a getaway day for most of these teams. Like, it's just, I don't know. You can't expect much on a Thursday.
Well, yeah, but usually Thursday you'll get like 7, 8 games, so it makes sense. There's like 13 today. So you would think.
Yeah.
So Dodgers, Reds over 9.5, prop beaver in the sports book.
Yes,
Boston money line. Orioles money line. And Houston money line. See where we're at with that. That's going to be a big payout. Because Boston's dogs. Orioles is a pick 'em, and Houston's a pick 'em. That's going to be a big payout. I'm going to guess +8, plus 922.
Plus 1478.
Not even close. Plus 1478. Actually, take out the which one should we take out of that? Pick one prop you were to take out.
The Red Sox.
Take out the Red Sox.
Plus 610.
That's more like it. Plus 610. Dodgers, Reds over. Baltimore money line. Houston money line plus 610. There's the community parlay. Thanks everyone for watching as always. Make sure you give the commissioner a follow. We appreciate him coming on. And he probably will be on most Thursdays moving forward. It was weird that he missed 2 in a row because he was away. And then I wasn't able to do the show on one of the Thursdays. So that's why he missed a couple in a row. So I think you can count on him being here most Thursday mornings. So, all right. Everyone, remember to bet responsibly. Let's have a great day, and we'll see you tonight. We'll be uploading, me and Proppy will be uploading stuff tonight, a baseball video and NBA Finals Game 4. So I'll be back tonight. Everyone have a good day.
Peace.
Yes.
All right, good.